Well, hello again. I hope I look a little bit more presentable today. I'm still in the process of learning how to do it, whether or not I can stop recording and then go back and record in the same video. But had a response from Taylor that she wanted to know what things meant, uh, or that was one of her favorite options. So um, we were just talking the other day, Sunday, and it's like I don't know where to start, and then I said, well, maybe I should just start at the beginning. But that's a long conversation. So let me start today just talking about the Ten Commandments. All of you, I'm sure, have heard the word Ten Commandments. And these were commandments that God had given to Moses to deliver to the children of Israel after God had sent Moses to pull them out, get them out of slavery in the land of Egypt. So I thought, okay, when I was growing up, we had 10 Commandments posted in the classroom. Just about every classroom had 10 Commandments posted. In the courthouses, in the courtrooms, most churches, and that's one thing that the globalists and the elitists, atheists have wanted to get out of all public view. We don't want to see the 10 Commandments. Well, why is that? Um, Could be because they don't want you to know what's right and wrong. They want you to think, is this right? Oh, well, I want to do this, so yeah, it's okay because this is what I want. Well, that goes against the first commandment, which is, and I'm going to read it to you, and if I bring up more questions in your mind, put a post on the page saying, what did you mean by this? Okay, the first commandment is, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. Okay, so when you are the one that decides what's right and what's wrong, you're kind of making yourself God. Does that make sense? If the government tells you you can't speak about God or you can't believe in God and you follow that, then you've made the government your God because you're obeying them rather than God, the Father. Okay, enough said there. That's maybe two or three bunch of questions. Okay, commandment number 2. You shall not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing steadfast love to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments. God is a jealous God. He made the earth for us. He made our lives for us to live, to love Him, serve Him, know Him. These people that worship a thing that someone has made, and you see it all over the place. People have little statues, and they have. I'm not saying it's wrong to put like little whatnots and stuff in your house. Some religions believe it's wrong to even look into a mirror. I'm not getting that far. I'm not going that deep. I'm saying anything that is an image, that you're not to ask it things, you're not to talk to it, you're not to believe that it has some kind of power. Some people do it with crystals. You know, they'll wear a crystal around their neck thinking it has power. You're making something else a God, and God is not pleased with that. Okay? Enough said there. More questions. Okay. Commandment number 3. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Well, you hear a lot of people say GD this and GD that. That's one way to do it. Then you have other people say, oh, God, or geez, I'd be afraid of that too. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to I'm just trying to tell you what I think that these words mean, that God put in the Bible for us to follow so that we would be pleasing to Him. I want to please God, and I hope that you do too. All right. Number 4, commandment number 4. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall work or labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, your male servant or your female servant, or your livestock, or the sojourner, visitor, who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath and made it holy. Well, if you look at your calendar, the seventh day is Saturday. The powers that be, the puppet makers, the puppet movers, manipulators, have somehow got it to where everybody goes to church, worships on Sunday, which is the sixth day. Sunday is a pagan type name. It's for worshipers of the sun, not S-O-N, sun, like Son of God, but sun, like the big round ball in the sky that gives the light. Some people worship the sun, and that was very common back in the ancient days. And I'm not telling you you have to. People pick the day that they want to observe Sabbath. I'm just telling you what He said, what the Lord said. Okay. In our day and time, people have jobs of all different types. They work for people who will not allow them. Used to be people could do it with like a conscientious objection, and the employer would have to let them off. But our day and time, nobody really believes that you're that devout, that you're that much of a Christian, that you have to observe the Sabbath, which is Saturday. But I just want to tell you what it means. Okay, number 5. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. And that's a promise from God, that if you honor your father and mother, that you will have a longer life. And that's a pretty good promise right there. And honoring doesn't mean you don't have the right to talk with them and discuss with them, but not to raise your voice at them, not to treat them meanly, to take care of them, because they took care of us when we were little babies and children growing up. And as they grow old and weak, it is our responsibility to honor them, to, even if we disagree with them, to honor their words and treat them with respect and dignity, and to take care of their needs as best we can. Okay? Number 6, you shall not murder. Well, that's just obvious. Do no murder. Now, murder is different than killing someone who might be trying to harm you, or if your country drafts you and you have to go like as a soldier into war. A lot of people are conscientious objectors. When they go into war, they will not pick up a weapon. I can understand that based on this. But it means actually don't go out here like these people out on the streets just killing people. Just start firing guns into a crowd, or plan and devise a way to kill someone's husband because you want his wife or whatever. So there you go. You shall not commit adultery. Now, adultery is when a man or a woman has sexual relations with someone of the opposite sex who is the wife or husband of someone else. And so that's adultery. Thou shalt not steal. There's another obvious one. Do not take anything that does not belong to you. You may ask for it. You may buy it. I'm talking about so much as a towel in a motel room, or an ashtray, or a pillow, or money you see laying around in someone's house, or anything that you have not asked for and the other person has given you freely. A lot of these bills that people rack up and then they never bother to pay it no matter what. I mean, it's hard for me to say. Uh, at some point, there needs to be a payback to pay that person, that company, what you owe. God requires it. Restitution. Okay. Number 9. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. And that basically means don't you be making up no lies about other people and spreading them either before a judge in court or the other neighbors or people on Facebook or whatever. Do not make up stories that are false. And a lot of times it's better to keep your mouth shut about things you know to be true. Do not make up stories trying to degrade, profane, and your neighbor is everyone but you. That's your neighbor. Okay? Don't do it. It goes against God's commandments. It's wrong. It's a sin. These are the first 10 sins that were given after Israel came out of Egypt. And Egypt was a place where sin was rampant, and they had lost a lot of their sense of what's right and wrong. So this was the beginning of it. Now, number 10, you shall not covet. Now, covet means you want something that someone else has, but you don't want just something that's like what they got. You want what they got. You want their car. You want their job. You want their husband or wife. You want their boyfriend or girlfriend. Anything that belongs to someone else, and you want that thing. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male servant, or his female servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's. That's the end of the 10. And that covers a whole lot of things if you would just stop and think about it. But make these the things that you live by. You will be pleasing to God for doing those things. Now, these do not save you. We'll get into salvation and the plan of salvation a little later. I just wanted to start right here. These are things that are pleasing to God when you obey them, because it means you're paying attention to what God is saying to you. All right, that's long enough for today, or for this sitting, and I hope you can hear it. If there's any problems,